warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, my dear students. How are you? I hope all of you are doing okay right now. Joining with you today, it's me, Miss Dewi Snaini. And I know that all of you are wondering about what we are going to do today. But before we start our lesson, let's bow our head and say our prayers, shall we? Okay, before we go to our topic today, I just want to make sure that all of you sit nicely, be ready for having discussion, prepare your notebook, and if it's necessary, you can unmute your microphone later, and let's work together so that we can achieve our goal of lesson today. Alright, before we dive in, make sure that you are confirming you're joining into my class today by clicking the link that I've already shared you in our chat box. So you just need to click the plus button here and write down your name. For example, Zahra. Say present and write down like I'm ready to learn English, and take your own picture. And you can save it. Alright, then here we are. This is our competence for today's lesson. As we know that in the last weeks we have learned about telling days, telling time, and telling months. So today we are going to focus on learning about telling dates. Inshallah, in the end of the lesson, you will be able to say dates in English. You also will know about its function and structures of the sentence. So, enjoy! Hey, I wonder, have you ever seen the text like this? Or like this? Or like this? Or maybe like this? Do you know how to say them in English? Well, there are two different ways on telling dates in English, on spoken and written English. To say dates in spoken English, there are some features that you have to know. First, in spoken English, we use ordinal numbers. What is ordinal numbers? Ordinal numbers is like the first, the second, the third, and so on. We usually use these ordinal numbers to explain the position of someone or something. So, for telling dates, we can say the 1st of January, the 3rd of May, the 22nd of August. Okay, so now you understand how to say dates in English. But do you know that there are different ways on writing dates in British English and American English, which it affects the way of it's said. Let's have a look. You can see on the screen that in the first line is the way of American English says the date. And in the second line is the way of British English says the date. In American English, they started by month first, and then followed by the cardinal number of the date. However, in their spoken, they say it in ordinal number. So, in the example, you could see that it says March 7th instead of saying March 7. While in British English, they write it in ordinal number and then followed by month. And in their spoken, they put the in front of the date. So, it could be the 7th of March. Hey, has any one of you ever booked a room through some sites like booking.com, Airbnb, hotel.com, or maybe Traveloka? Or Maybe you ever found a form that requires you to write the dates in numbers? While if you want to write it in numbers, there are different ways of American and British English. In American, usually they started with month, day, and year. So here, American can say the 6th of May. While in British, they read this as day, month, and year. So they said the 5th of June. Let's move to read the year. To read the year, you have to divide the numbers into two parts. For example, in 1984, in 1652, in 2017. Exception: for the year 2000 until 2010, usually people say 2000 plus number. For example, 2007, 2006, 2005. And remember that we use on to say date and days, and we use in to say month and year. So how to say this? Yep, you are right. If you are starting by saying the dates, then it should be on the 29th of August. But if you are starting by saying the month, then it should be I was born in August 29th. And what about this? Yes, you are right. It's in November 30th in 2020. Or you can say it's on the 30th of November in 2020. And what about this? And this? No, you can try yourself. To ask about that, we can say, what's the date? Or, what date is today? Today is the 1st of January. And here I have a calendar that later you will have to perform a dialogue with your partners. Now I will give you an example. A student. What day is it today? It's Saturday. What date is it? It's the 4th of January. Or it's January 4th. Now your turn. Just perform a dialogue with your partners for the circle of the dates. And to make you practice more, please perform dialogues with your partners based on the information on this agenda. The example of the dialogues will be shown in the next slide. Here is the example. Please make sure that you record your dialogues and submit it to me by the end of this month. And this is our value for today. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Hai orang-orang yang beriman, bertakwalah kepada Allah dan hendaklah setiap diri memperhatikan apa yang telah diperbuatnya untuk hari esok akhirat, dan bertakwalah kepada Allah, sesungguhnya Allah Maha mengetahui apa yang kamu kerjakan. Quran Surat Al-Hasyr ayat 18-19. Hidup kayu berbuah, hidup manusia biar berjasa. Pada waktu kita hidup, sebaiknya berbuat baik untuk diri sendiri dan untuk masyarakat. Peribahasa Indonesia. Hey, finally we come to the end of session today. Let's say hamdalah together. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Doa akhir majlis. Subhanakallahumma bihamdika asyhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Amin. Don't forget that in the next week we will have a test through Microsoft Forms. It's about this competence. It's about telling days, telling months, telling time, and telling dates. Just prepare yourself and have a good day. See you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.